Well, as per the latest data that's come through from the exchanges, the Vodafone Idea FPO, India's largest ever FPO, has been subscribed fully on its last day. So this is the 18,000 crore rupee FPO, and this is a fundraise for the company, an all-important one for the company. It has been led by QIBs, qualified institutional buyers. The price band for this shows are now, as far as we are looking at the data coming in, it had been fixed at 10 to 12 rupees a share, but this FPO comes as a part of the larger fundraise plan over at Vodafone Idea. The plan is to raise as much as 45,000 crore rupees. So how they've done on the 18,000 crore rupees fundraise through this follow-on public offer? Let's find out. My colleague Anurag Joshi is joining us here in the Mumbai newsroom. Anurag, tell us about the subscriptions and where the largest investor base is for this FPO.
The follow-on public offering of Vodafone Idea, the biggest such equity offering from an Indian corporate so far, has closed with oversubscription of over 6.5 times. Institutional investors that included some key international marquee names were the biggest backers, and they provided subscription of 19.3 times. Non-institutional buyers that included HNI investors, they contributed 4.5 times the subscription numbers, while the participation of retail investors was subdued with just one-time subscription received. Now, the total size of the issue was 15,300 crore for the public shareholders, and this includes the institutional, non-institutional and the retail portion. And the total subscription received was exceeding 1 lakh crores. Ahead of the opening of the sale to the public shareholders on April 18, the issue was opened for anchor investors, and that size was 5,400 crore rupees. And the key investors that participated in the anchor investor stage included GQG Partners run by Rajiv Jain, Fidelity funds affiliated to Morgan Stanley, and also the government pension fund Global, which is the Norwegian sovereign wealth fund and the biggest SWF in the world.
Thanks very much for filling us in with all the details about the follow-on public offer, which has done rather well for itself. But how well? Let's decode that with Prashanth Tapse, who's the Senior Vice President for Research. He's a research analyst with Mehta Equities. Great to have you with us. Do tell us, Prashanth, from the looks of it, this FPO seems to have done well. The larger plan, of course, is to have a fundraise of 45,000 crore rupees. That's what Vodafone Idea is eyeing. But looking at this FPO, the follow-on public offer, how well do you think it has done compared to expectations among the analyst community?
I think the overwhelming demand from the QIB has done well in this FPO. But the major trigger has come from GQG, which was being discussed a lot about in the anchor book. So that made the big changes in this IPO, in this FPO. That was the great thing one investor was watching for. And the third day, I think it was a overwhelming welcome for every investor, and they have done the great job, I think. So every money which has been raised now is going towards growth capital. So that will only bring operational benefits. That only will bring a lot of changes in the telecom infrastructure from 2G to 4G and 4G to 5G. So the story is really great. Indian telecom industry will be the only watchful industry in the whole world. And the third player, Idea, is doing great right now. With the market share of 19% as of now, I think the downside is very limited to lose any customers. And if Idea successfully launches 4G, so the market share will obviously rise going forward.
When you look at the competitive landscape, Prashanth, looking at the way this FPO has done, which is, of course, to do with the telecom space, and the promise is huge. But in terms of players, we have only so many. How does it change the competitive landscape after this kind of fundraise? Because when you look at Reliance Jio, those numbers have come in as well. You're looking at higher subscriptions, subscriber base is growing, the ARPUs are rising. So Vodafone Idea was a bit of a laggard. How does this change things considering the debt on their books as well?
see, debt will be almost remaining the same at the same level going forward. Again, I think 2 to 3 years, the debt will remain at the higher levels. When we compare with the peers, yes, Bharti Airtel and Jio has deep pockets to invest a lot of money to, they are into profitable zone for many years. They are able to raise money from the markets. They are able to even invest in the markets right now. But yes, it is very difficult for an idea kind of company which were making a lot of losses in last so many years. I think this money will give them a boosting support for going forward and make sure the competition is really kicking to the Geo as well as Bharti. I think post-election, there will be a lot of changes in the tariff that will directly benefit Mr. Vodafone. And I think that will bring a lot of operational benefits. EBITDA will be better. And I think that will help the company to grow faster.
Space very closely, and for the future, of course, we'll be checking in with you when it comes to the telecom sector and how it's doing, considering that now Vodafone Idea seems to be back in the race, as it were, compared to the other big ones, which is, of course, Bharti Airtel and Reliance Jio. Thanks very much, Prashanth, for joining us on India Tonight. We'll take a quick break now.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.